Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely, and this video is going to be all about how to throw your backhand with the nose up, also known as an air bounce. But first, if you would like to get better at disc golf, I highly recommend my 6-month online Become a Complete Disc Golfer class. It's not only all the fundamentals of the backhand, sidearm, and putting, but it's a 6-month class. We will get into the weeds, we will go down the rabbit hole, in fact, we'll do 7 other metaphors on the way to learning all the smaller details in throwing too. This is just one example. Throwing with the nose up is a high-level technique. Now, I talked about in a previous video that probably a lot of you watched about how to keep the disc flat. And that's important because your baseline throw should be flat. Normal throws, if you throw a backhand and the nose is up, is a wrong throw. It sacrifices distance and it creates more variance in the flight path. You gotta be more precise on your angle with the nose up because of how much more the disc will fade. That's not what you wanna do. I'll put a link below about how to throw flat because, again, that's not your baseline throw. But there are situations when you want to throw with the nose up. So first I'm going to demonstrate one, and like all these videos, I don't have a catch cam, I'm not all fancy pants like Joe Mez, but you'll see a little bit what I mean by that. When I put the nose up, it means that you will see some of the top of the disc when it flies. Should probably get out of the way of the camera. I'm a professional. On your baseline throw, you don't want to see the top of the disc when the disc flies. All you want to see is the side of the disc, as little of the disc as possible. But there are times when throwing nose up is something you will do on purpose. And this is when you're going to use that. Number one, if you want the disc to hover for a longer period of time at a slower speed, meaning as the disc flies through the air this direction, you want it to continue at the height it's on rather than start to drop. Putting the nose up is one thing to accomplish that. The second time that you're going to put the nose up on a disc is if you want the disc to hit the ground traveling slower. A disc flying flat, traveling at a certain speed, hits the ground at a certain speed. When that disc flies through the air with the nose up, it decelerates and hits the ground slower, which creates less ground play. It creates less of a skip. So if you want the disc to stop and not skip as far, one solution is putting the nose up. And the third time you're gonna throw the nose up is if you want a more extreme fade. Every disc, when thrown with a clockwise spin, a right-handed player throwing backhand is throwing with a clockwise spin, will end its flight fading to the left. This disc will fade a certain amount to the left based on the model, the speed, the spin, and all those factors. The more the nose is up, the more pronounced the fade is going to be. If you need to make a sharp turn around an obstacle, the more you put the nose up, the sharper turn you're going to get. So all these are situational shots. You add the variables of having to get the nose angle right. This is why on your baseline throw, you probably don't want to just throw nose up because you can. What you'll do is choose the trade-off between doing something harder, but giving you more possible outcomes with the disc when you do so. So it's your choice, but there are situations where you're going to do it. So I said nose up and I also said air bounce. What's the difference between those two? Well, effectively nothing. The reason it's called an air bounce traditionally is because when the nose is up on the disc, when the disc flies through the air, instead of flying straight, it will start to go up in the air. Well, if you take that disc and you throw it down, instead of going down, because that nose is up, it goes down and up, the disc appears to bounce off the ground. So it's called an air bounce. They're effectively interchangeable for what we're talking about today. We're just talking about the nose up. Now, putting the nose up basically means violating the rule I talked about in my keeping the disc flat video. the number one thing that causes the nose to go up incorrectly is the swiveling of the forearm. This part of your arm from elbow to wrist on your standard throw should not swivel. Instead, your elbow and wrist should act as hinges parallel to the ground or parallel to the flight you want the disc to fly. That's why when this hinge and this hinge are parallel, the nose of that disc doesn't go up. When you swivel the wrist, it will put the nose up. Now you won't see the disc fly, but I'll demonstrate this way what that looks like. The disc goes across your body, and right about here, instead of backhanding someone like you're backhanding them upside their head, whack, you're going to karate chop them with the side of your hand and your pinky, palm down, which is a way of making elbow to forearm swivel. So all you're gonna do to put the nose up on the disc is come across your body, and then right before you release the disc, turn that palm down, and that puts the nose up on the disc. Now, that is how to put the nose up on the disc a little bit. I mean, fundamentally, that's what causes the nose to go up. But there are 3 things you can add to this to create a more extreme nose up. Number 1, you can start the disc above the plane you're throwing on. So if I wanted to throw a disc straight across this direction, I would start the disc above that plane up here. That's number 1. Number 2, and it kind of coincides with this, but by starting the disc on this plane, or my arm not on the plane I was throwing, I will also be placing the disc not on the plane it's going to throw. Now, you can accomplish that with your arm on the plane by tilting up, but you will get a more dramatic result, and we're going for more dramatic here, more dramatic than simply swiveling your forearm. Then go ahead and lift your arm and change the plane of the disc. And the third thing you're going to do is you're going to swoop. Now, anytime you ever heard the word swoop or someone say that you're swooping, it's always a bad thing, right? You're not supposed to swoop, meaning your arm does not go in this direction when you throw. That is not your baseline throw. If you're swooping on the T-pad on normal throws, watch my video again on how to throw flat. Stop doing that. It's killing your distance, it's killing your game. But to do it intentional, a dramatic air bounce or nose up, disc and arm not on the plane you're going to throw, you're going to swoop in this direction right here while simultaneously swiveling the forearm, turning the palm down, and karate chopping. So this is what it's going to look like. And I'm going to do this sideways. You won't see the disc fly. Trust me, it's going to fly at about this angle right here. But the side angle is a much better way to show what's happening to the body and the arm. So this is a dramatic air bounce or nose up. It's going to come up here, and I'm going to throw like that. And that is how you put the nose up on the disc. Remember, check out my 6-month online class at scottstokely.net, and I got more videos coming. Oh, by the way, we're in Thailand. Just thought I'd mention that. Mind blown. Playing disc golf in Thailand. All right, thanks everybody.